The anxiety is real. In one example, it has been found that some people are actually afraid of being happy because they expect bad things to happen. The average brain has actually decreased in size since the early stages of mankind, specifically the hunter-gatherer stage. We've lost about 10% in size, according to scientists. The best way to change a habit, aside from simply doing it differently, is to use 3 factors. Add an element of fun to the new habit. Add an element of surprise to get others, your kids, for example, to change their habit, and look at other people who are doing it already. The first option is the likely choice when we are presented with a list of things to pick from. We may not even really understand why. Unless we were looking for a specific feature of the item, we likely go with what's on top. The human brain is fascinating. It operates on an estimated 20 watts of power and accounts for both unconscious and conscious functioning of the body. By contrast, the world's fastest computers use an estimated 18 megawatts to run. That's the energy consumption of a small city. Even so, the brain works faster, by quite a lot. The legendary London black cab drivers have to know how to get to every street in London. Studies show that they have a larger hippocampus than most ordinary people. Scientists interpret this as evidence that this area of the brain helps us process details. There is a human impulse to control the environment. This has to do with safety and resources management built into our survival instincts. It applies to our homes, social spaces, and workspaces. Interestingly, though, we appreciate that control more when we have choices to make. Translated, choice is an inherent part of feeling we are in control. There's a reason why you love the oldies. Studies suggest that the songs you listen to in high school are more likely to leave a lasting imprint on your mind and memory, probably because you associate them with pleasant or emotionally explorative times. The romantic notion that you can die from a broken heart indeed has some truth to it. Medically, such a death is termed stress cardiomyopathy, and it's not just to be found in epic historical films. The yawn is more contagious among people who are emotionally connected. So while a stranger on a train might not trigger your yawn, your mum or partner letting one happen over dinner will get yours going too. Those of us who work in the modern era understand a massive debate around multitasking. The current feeling is that people cannot and should not multitask. There is a scientific argument for this. Even if you think you're multitasking, all you're doing is switching between 2 or more things quickly. 3 primitive impulses impact basic social behavior. The impulses are related to food, sex, and danger. In essence, the old basic impulses compel us to consider anything we encounter as offering any of those possibilities. Uniformity bonds people. This is why, for example, armies are taught to march together, dress the same and act in the same way. This synchronous activity can also be seen in crowds at sports events, political rally chanting, and singing national anthems. We love choices, but if we are faced with too many, we simply freeze up and struggle to make any choice at all. We love to study and tell ourselves we're going to start new habits, especially on New Year's. The key to forming habits that last is just to do them, to begin with. After a while, it starts slotting into your psychological makeup, and your day won't feel complete without doing them. A habit takes about 66 days to imprint on your brain. When people see pictures of human faces, they tend to look at the eyes first. When someone approaches you with the phrase, "I need to talk to you about something," your brain cycles through all the potentially harmful things you've done recently. When we're students, we often lament exams and tests, but studies show that you are more likely to store information in your long-term memory if you get tested on it. That still doesn't mean you have to enjoy tests, though. When you're feeling down, sing. Singing noticeably reduces anxiety and depression, and will generally leave you feeling better than before you did it. Hot tip: the hairbrush is a fantastic microphone. When you are happy, you may tend to make better decisions to solve complex problems, because you are more likely to be intuitive about your choices. On the other hand, if you are angry or sad, it is better to be logical about your decisions, as your bad mood gut instinct will likely negatively influence your decisions. You're more at risk of clinical depression if you are aged 18-33, while you can still suffer from depression at almost any age, and more acutely at that. This is the age group currently diagnosed the most. You can fake yourself into thinking you're making progress. It's not necessarily a bad thing, either. The illusion of progress can motivate you into making actual progress. You may be wondering where phobias come from. Some studies suggest that they are genetic memories passed down from ancestors. This might be an interesting explanation, given that so many phobias have no rational experience to draw from. On that note, it seems like chromosomes and genes have the ability to carry memory. You may not want to do everything in your power to make people happy, but it has been proven that spending money on others makes you feel better. At least, it doesn't come with the guilt of spending on yourself. Your brain is wired to what is called a negativity bias. This means that you remember more bad things than good things. Usually, also, bad memories have a more potent chemical effect on your brain, roughly 1 bad to 5 good memories.